The Adaptation Fund is a strong proponent of locally led adaptation and recently launched new funding windows and enhanced direct access to foster LLA on the ground, as well as in innovation to encourage local actors to innovate new approaches in adaptation. Adaptation Fund head Mikko Ollikainen speaks of the importance of LLA.
Locally led adaptation is a theme that is gathering a lot of attention at the moment. It means that ownership of adaptation actions is entrusted with the local communities and other local stakeholders. Enhanced direct access is one type of locally led adaptation. In enhanced direct access, those funds are held by the national organization, and that is what makes it such a unique way of funding adaptation activities. In everything that the Adaptation Fund finances in developing countries, the local aspects are taken into account. There are comprehensive consultation processes that ensure that the views of different segments of the society are taken into account, including the vulnerable communities. In locally led adaptation, we emphasize that, and the decision on which types of activities are funded at the local level is especially pronounced, so that the specific projects are designed and chosen by those local communities.
The Department of Environment of Antigua and Barbuda is pleased to give our support to the Global Principles for Locally Led Adaptation developed by the Global Commission on Adaptation. In Antigua and Barbuda, we strongly believe in the full engagement of all stakeholders, especially by giving those who are normally marginalized a visible and responsive platform to share their views and participation in decision-making. Antigua and Barbuda is party to the Escazú Agreement, in which countries in the Latin America and Caribbean region have created our own treaty mandating the right of the public to have access to information and participate in decisions regarding the management of the environment. Lending our support to these principles was a natural choice, as we already incorporate these actions in our programs and projects. Our ability to apply these principles can be readily seen under our Enhanced Direct Access project and other projects being implemented and executed by the Department of Environment.
Hello, I'm Juliana Strobel. I'm Climate Action Program Manager at Fundación Avina. We are a global philanthropic organization rooted in the Global South, and we work mostly with local actors as key leading partners to respond to the climate crisis. We have signed locally led adaptation principles in 2021, and now we celebrate 1 year as part of this community with several ongoing initiatives. One of them is BASE, which aims to build innovative approaches to fund local solutions with climate evidence. We also work with Voices for Just Climate Action and this resilience. For 2023, we hope to keep cooperating with this inspiring community towards the implementation of bottom-up approaches to climate adaptation.
My name is Mohammad Liaquat Ali. I am the Director for Climate Change Program here in Bangladesh, as well as for BRAC International. We are very much proud to be in the process of LLA principle development. Our previous Executive Director, Dr. Musa, was instrumental in this process. Over the BRAC, any development program, we are trying to follow the principles of locally led adaptation in Africa and Asia. Like in Mongla, in Bangladesh, due to high salinity, peoples are at severe vulnerability in terms of water security. So we are come up with a very old known technology is the rainwater harvesting that ensures safe and good amount of water for their life and livelihood. This is a locally led, locally driven, chosen by the people so that they can themselves manage it very nicely and they can overcome the problem of water security in Mongla.
My name is Heather McRae, and I'm the Director of the Climate Justice Resilience Fund. CJRF is a philanthropic fund that pools money from private foundations and makes grants to support women and youth and Indigenous peoples in building and scaling their own solutions for climate change. We endorsed the locally led adaptation principles in 2021, and since then, our most significant achievement has been a change in our own governance. We are in process of shifting from a funder-led fund, where I report to a board comprised of representatives of the foundations that have pooled money with CJRF, to a practitioner-led fund. We're recruiting a board comprised of activists and practitioners from places in the world hit hardest by climate change. We look forward to having grant-making and decision-making that's led by people from places that really have experience with the work that we're doing and with the problems we're trying to solve.
Hello, I'm Dan Collison. I'm the CEO at Farm Africa. We're very pleased to be endorsing these principles for locally led adaptation ahead of COP27 in October 2022. Farmers in East Africa are having to adapt and respond really quickly to climate change. And that means that NGOs like Farm Africa are also having to adapt our programs and approaches. The best way of doing this, of course, is to listen to the priorities and the solutions of the farmers that we work with. And these principles give us a really clear vocabulary and direction across the sector to do this. Farm Africa's work with participatory forest management committees in Ethiopia in the Bale ecoregion provides us with a really good example. Forest management committees, these local groups, set the rules for natural resource management. They support the diversification of sustainable forest livelihoods, and very importantly, they arrange for the fair benefit sharing of carbon income that's derived from REDD+ projects. It's a really clear example of the principles in action, and it provides Farm Africa and our partners with a nice roadmap on how to embed these principles further within our own programs and within our strategy. So I'm really pleased that Farm Africa is part of a very broad network of organizations that have committed to the principles, and looking forward to making sure that we embed them further within our organization and within our strategy over the coming years.
My name is Gabriela Villamarin. I work in Fundación Futuro Latinoamericano, FLA, and I am the regional coordinator for Latin America of CDKN. FLA is an NGO based in Quito, Ecuador, that promotes the management of sustainable territories in Latin America. FLA endorsed the locally led adaptation principles last month, and we are committed to facilitating and implementing them in our work. Our approaches include technical assistance, capacity strengthening, knowledge brokering, dialogue, and co-creation spaces to help ensure that initiatives are designed and implemented based on the local needs of diverse sectors and community groups, since we are convinced that responses to climate change need to be transformative, equitable, inclusive, rights-based, and sustainable. In that sense, we aim to link locally led proposals with groups most vulnerable to climate change and with finance. We hope then to have the opportunity to collaborate with you soon on LLA.
I'm Runa Khan, founder and executive director of Friendship Bangladesh and founder of Friendship International, working in 5 countries. Since 20 years, 100% of our core work is with IDPs, climate migrants of this planet, giving direct service solutions to 7.5 million people annually. We have endorsed LLA principles of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In a country of 170 million people, every project, be it climate mitigation, needs to be societal. Mangrove forest is the immediate, urgent solution for carbon sequestration, climate change adaptation, and societal sustainability solutions, bringing sustenance to millions. Friendship works in collaboration with the local community, local government, and the Department of Forest. The project complies with several principles of LLA. For instance, it devolved decision-making at the lowest level, addressed structural inequalities, ensures transparency and accountability, robust understanding of climate risk and uncertainty, collaborative action and investment, climate finance, and positive societal impact, which is long-term and often expensive. Our mangrove afforestation project has been ranked among 20 best practice forest landscape restoration in South Pacific, out of more than 150 projects identified by IUCN and FAO. We hope to intensify our effort in restoring mangrove forest for carbon sequestration and also bring positive and societal impact and ensure safety of lives of millions of people in the coming future.
Here in Fondo de Cooperación in Costa Rica, we celebrate the anniversary of the endorsement of the locally led adaptation principles. We do believe that's the way forward. We've seen so many communities and organizations taking the lead, but also defining the best way to adapt according to their local context. This is the way forward, taking giving the opportunity for them to decide and adding so many organizations to join on the solutions. That is how we are going to adapt better and become better in resilience.
My name is Nathaniel Matthews, and I'm the CEO of the Global Resilience Partnership. GRP is a group of over 65 diverse organizations advancing resilience and locally led adaptation through identifying and scaling on-the-ground innovation, generating and sharing knowledge, and shaping policy. GRP is proud to be one of the founding signatories of the locally led adaptation principles and to have helped contribute to their development. We use the principles as a guiding star for all of GRP's work. They help guide who and how we work on the ground, how we recognize, share, and advance knowledge, and how and why we engage in policy meetings like COP27. For example, as a managing partner of the Resilience Hub, we worked with our local partners to run over 40 events in regional hubs across Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific, and Latin America and the Caribbean to collect and elevate locally led voices into the COP process. We are thrilled to see the locally led adaptation principles gain further traction across the climate change space, and we hope you will participate in the Resilience Hub.
Hello, I'm Vincent Gainey. I'm a climate resilience advisor with the United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. The UK was one of the first countries to endorse the locally led adaptation principles at the Climate Adaptation Summit in January 2021. We recognise that local communities are crucial agents of change in delivering effective adaptation action. The locally led action track identified by the Global Commission on Adaptation made the convincing case for increasing the volume of funding targeting local action, working with local governments, community-based organisations and others to identify, prioritise, implement and monitor climate adaptation solutions. We know how little finance actually reaches local levels where it's really needed. The poorest people are frequently those most disproportionately affected by extreme events and stresses. In response to this, the UK has been supporting the Least Developed Countries Initiative for Effective Adaptation and Resilience, called LIFE-AR, for the last 2.5 years. And this aims to channel at least 70% of all climate finance to support local actions by 2030. This aims to give greater control of the decisions on targeting climate finance to address locally identified priorities to those most impacted by climate change in the poorest countries. The UK is intending to increase and enhance support for this initiative over the next 5 years, enabling least developed countries to realise their vision of a climate resilient future for all their people by 2030 and their long-term aim to achieve net zero by 2050. We're excited to work with these countries to support these ambitious and vital objectives and are committed to further implementation of the principles and encourage other national actors to join us in endorsing the LLA principles.
Very proud to have created a very established and successful model for locally led adaptation in Bangladesh, together with UNCDF, EU, and Sweden, and of course the government of Bangladesh.
Each of the adaptation intervention should make sure that the local communities are significantly consulted and local authorities are consulted to design and plan of every adaptation intervention.
The global leaders from the global south and really help fund their adaptation solutions.
Consultation with local people, so we need to break the language barriers and engage them more holistically.
Gather more knowledge from the local people. As we know, climate crisis has been a great concern.
My name is Tracy Kajumba. I'm a principal researcher in the climate change group at IIED. IIED endorsed the principles of locally led adaptation in 2021. And LLA basically is around devolving authority and control of resources to local actors. Since the endorsement, IIED has taken some action to demonstrate. One of the things we have done is working on shifting power through supporting and strengthening ethical and equitable partnerships. We are working with partners to develop a shared vision, values, and principles that will help us to understand what equitable partnerships mean for us as IIED and our partners, and defining the normative partnership standards embedded in principles of equity and fairness. We are reviewing internally our procedures, our partnerships, our tools to make sure that they help us to operationalize sharing of power equitably with our partners. We have started doing some of this through promoting good partnership practices. For example, co-designing agendas with partners, developing proposals together with substantive engagement and contribution on decisions, including budgets. We are compensating the time they use to engage with these processes, and we will continue using the lessons from this to challenge our positionality and to work more on addressing equitable processes in the partnerships and doing that collaboratively with our partners.
यो कुलो ल्याइसकेपछि अहिले हामीलाई धेरै फाइदा छ। बुढी महिला, गर्भवती महिलाले बच्चाले पनि घट्ट तल बग्न पुग्नु पर्छ।
बल्ल आइकन पानीको सुविधा अब भयो। नेपाली खुसी जाउँ।
अहिले यो पक्की कुलो हुँदा हामीले यो लगाएको बाली पनि अब खाउला जस्तो भइरहेछ।
Nepal is a pioneer in initiating the Local Adaptation Plan of Action, LAPA. The government of Nepal endorsed the principle of locally led adaptation in climate COP26. Adaptation success are remarkable in reaching the most vulnerable.
Namaste, my name is Kriti Shrestha and I work for Practical Action Nepal. We work with flood-prone communities in Western Nepal and help them build their flood resilience. One of the initiatives that we are piloting in these flood-prone communities are the raised nurseries, which are basically raised structures where farmers plant their seeds and vegetable plantlings till they are ready and replant it to their farms. This was extremely helpful during the unseasonal October 2022 floods, where it was safe from the floodwaters and the communities were able to replant it immediately after the floodwaters receded and continue their business and their livelihood options. These are extremely simple and cost-effective. A simple structure would cost less than $12 and community members are able to do it themselves, proving it to be one of the best locally led adaptation that we have been piloting in our communities.
Hi, my name is Idris Ejel. I'm a climate resilience advisor for Practical Action. Since 2021, our organization endorsed the principle of locally led adaptation. For our flood resilience project in Senegal, we have trained 8 communities to have better understanding of flood risk and ensure that they have covered by effective community-based early warning system. We have also built the capacity of communities through disaster risk reduction training and provide them equipment to prepare and respond to flood. In each neighborhood where we work, we have set up a community disaster response team. This year, we will work with local government to set up a community working group that will give community members a voice in decision-making process on flood resilience. We will also work with the municipality of Chestnut to identify funding opportunities on climate resilience.
Hello, this is Runa Ray. I'm a fashion environmentalist, and my organization, Mojo Design Studios, endorses the principles of building a robust understanding of climate risk and uncertainty by ensuring transparency and accountability through collaborative action and investment, and of course, investing in local capabilities. The fashion industry, as we all know it, contributes largely to climate change, and for COP27, I am ensuring that we are working towards the founding principles that are important for people and planet, because there cannot be environmental justice without social justice, and we are all working in this together.
Το cyclo disaster risk reduction when we tell them say all can access we use takat lo urban areas you mean we prepare in advance we have one level safety measures we take them all get all in nakata can access.
I work with People's Process on Housing and Poverty in Zambia, and we work in partnership with the Zambia Homeless and Poor People's Federation. At a global level, we are SDI. And bringing locally led adaptation into the climate space is very important for us because it's something that we do every day, building from the bottom up, getting the information from the people on the ground, the people with the lived experience, and getting their solutions, their ideas, their knowledge, and bringing that to the fore, and working together in partnership with governments and other stakeholders. So for us, this is a very important position to stand on locally led adaptation.
The LLA principles, both for action and financing, seek acknowledgement that adaptation solutions require both vulnerable and the elite to make decisions that address the climate challenges of the present and the future. For something that is action-oriented, which requires solutions to be done today, resources for adaptation practices have to follow the LLA principles.
Start Network committed to the locally led adaptation principles in 2021. Why? Because it aligns with our systemic change vision, and we believe that locally led action and anticipatory action are key tools to tackle climate change. These are some of the changes we have been implementing.
We are devolving decision-making to the lowest appropriate level and investing in local capabilities. Through our regional hubs and through our programs, we have increased direct funding to 38% in 2022.
We are providing predictable funding that can be accessed more easily and are building a robust understanding of climate risk and uncertainty. Our financial mechanisms that already protects up to 3 times as many people as traditional humanitarian funding.
We are advocating loud and clear to policymakers and power holders to increase locally led anticipatory action as a more dignified way to support aid.
Hello, my name is Chris MacDonald and I'm the Global Resilience Lead for Tearfund. Why have Tearfund endorsed the principles for locally led adaptation? Well, Tearfund believes in the power of local knowledge, of decision-making and resources to bring lasting change. We work through an extensive network of local faith communities to enable those most impacted by climate change to adapt their lives and their livelihoods while protecting and restoring the environment that they depend on. And TIRFN's experience in humanitarian response, our values, our structure, our membership of relevant forums means that we are uniquely positioned to challenge assumptions. Our focus is getting more power to local people. This year at COP27, join us in calling for progress on climate change, on climate finance, that more of it will reach the local communities that need it most.
My name is George Bazongo. I'm the Director of Program for IIED. We are really proud to endorse the principle of local-led adaptation to climate shock and stresses that these local people are facing, in the land of Africa. All our projects are implementing some inclusive, participatory, and good approaches to that. They will support the local communities to restore the land and the forest, to protect this land against desertification and also restore all the ecosystem. The priorities for IIED is to scale up these good practices. We capitalize and we learn from the ground, from the grassroots to the wider communities of around the Green World initiative. And this can be only possible by bringing together the civil society organization, the NGOs, the private sector, the government, all the actors that have some interest to improve the livelihood of the people, the local people and communities which are living in the dryland Africa, which are really at the front line of the climate crisis. And these communities really need some big support because they are living under some consequences also of the climate crisis that is coming from far.
My name is Sring Panjo. I am the UNCDF coordinator for overseeing the activities of local climate adaptive living facility in Bhutan. Local and UNCDF endorsed the 8 principles for locally led adaptation in January 2021. Since then, local have expanded to more countries, delivering more climate finance to more communities. Today, local covers 34 countries worldwide and aims to mobilize $500 million in climate finance by 2027. Local, financing locally led adaptation in communities worldwide.
Hi there, I'm Adam Phillips, Executive Director of the Local Faith and Transformative Partnerships Hub here at USAID. We are the agency's technical lead for new, non-traditional, and local partnerships. USAID was very pleased to endorse the principles for locally led adaptation last year, and I'm excited to share that all that we've accomplished on both adaptation and localization since last year. In addition to USAID's endorsement of the principles at COP last year in Glasgow, the President also announced PREPARE, or the President's Emergency Plan for Adaptation and Resilience, which takes a coordinated whole-of-government approach to helping more than 500 million people in developing countries adapt to and manage the impacts of climate change by 2030. But even with added attention to adaptation, we know not enough funding is going to local levels. Recognizing that this is an issue across our entire portfolio, we are changing how we do business at USAID. Localization is a top priority for us and has 4 mutually reinforcing lines of effort. First, we are adapting our policies and program practices to better account for unique contexts and local systems. Localization is a key aspect of our forthcoming policy framework and underpins our local capacity strengthening policy, which was just released last month. Second, we are prioritizing local actors in 2 very key ways. We are channeling a larger portion of our assistance to local actors. Our goal is to allocate 25% of our programmatic funds directly to local partners by 2025. And we are shifting leadership to local actors in our programs, with the aim of having half of our programs locally led by 2030. This will mean that local actors, including women, youth, and marginalized and underrepresented groups, set priorities, design activities, implement and measure and evaluate results across USAID's portfolio. And finally, we are taking our role as a global advocate for localization and locally led adaptation seriously, which is why I'm so glad to continue working with all of you to advance this critical work.
Hi, I'm Wanjira Mathai, Managing Director for Africa and Global Partnerships at the World Resources Institute. At WRI, we know that it's critical to invest in locally led adaptation for the equitable, effective solutions, climate resilience that the world so desperately needs today. WRI was really proud to endorse the principles of locally led adaptation at the Climate Action Summit in 2021, and we continue to be proud to champion LLA today. Now, to deliver on our commitments, we've been working to diversify our partnerships and to reduce the administrative burden that flows down to our partners when they're working. We also strive to elevate the perspectives and expertise of grassroots and local partners as much as possible. As a research organization now, we have also been working to build the evidence base on good practices for delivering LLA and to promote shared learning. WRI is committed to doing our part to advance locally led solutions and is proud to stand in solidarity today with local communities on the front lines of climate change.